Theo. I'm a senior majoring in cinema studies, comparative literature, and Middle Eastern studies. I'm going to be reading an excerpt of a book called Kastoria by Benjamin Shvili. It's a really cool story how I found this book. I have a friend from Oberlin who graduated who posted a picture of the cover from a used bookstore in Jerusalem. And there's this beautiful picture of the Theo, which is the Greek Orthodox name for the Virgin Mary, of a certain icon. And the name Kastoria, which I knew as the name of this Greek village, about a few minutes drive from the village where my family is from, Yana. And upon further research, I found that it's about the author who's a Greek Jew going back to Greece to understand the land of his ancestors, and I felt, which I also am, and I felt too perfect. I looked him up in the phone book in Israel, and I just cold called him, and he said, "No one's asked me about that book in years. If you want to go ahead and translate it, good luck to you." The book is an interesting premise. It's sort of an auto-fiction. It's about his own journeys there. It's written in Hebrew and some Greek. And there's sort of his interlocutor is this 12th century European folk character called the Wandering Jew, which in Bulgarian is called Ahashver, and in Finnish is called Yerusalemin Sutari. This sort of anti-Semitic meme is brought into the fold by this very flexible, spiritually flexible Israeli author. And this story in particular is actually, he has a little footnote which I didn't include, is from a movie. It's called Ulysses Gaze by the Greek filmmaker Theo. No relationship. And this anecdote is just told here. It's never explained again. Although I actually just discovered that at the very end of the book he mentions that he is friends with Angelopoulos. But this anecdote is just exists on its own, which is why I chose it. I'll read it in Hebrew first. We got two Hebrew speakers. Anyone else? אספר לך סיפור, מעשה באזרח אמריקאי ממוצא יווני שהחליט לבוא לבקר את ארץ אבותיו. באחד ממסעותיו ביוון שכר לו האמריקני נהג מונית שיסיע אותו לגבול האלבני. כשהגיעו לכביש שבהרים, אשר משני צדדיו נערם לו שלג רב, עצר נהג המונית את מכוניותיו, ישב והביט מהמכונית אל הערים המושלגים. פתח דלת מכוניותו וכשאוויר קר נכנס פנימה השיב. 20 שנה אני עושה בשלג, מדבר אותו, ועכשיו השלג אמר לי לעצור. ומפני שאני מכבד את השלג, עצרתי, כי שלג צריך לכבד. הנהג הציע לאמריקני לדגום איתו אוזו, וכשהעבירו לו את הבקבוק אמר, היי אמריקני, לפי המסורת שלנו שני דברים צריכים לעשות, כדי ששני בני אדם יהיו חברים. לשתות אוזו מאותו בקבוק, ולשיר שיר עצוב אחד לשני. האמריקאי קם וצעד בעקבותיו עד שהגיעו לשפת תהום, שממנה ניבטו תחתותיו הערים המושלגים הרחוקים. חשיכה כיסתה כמעט כליל את החלל, והשקט השתלט על כל, ואז התחיל הנהג לבכות. הביט בערים הרחוקים והתחיל לצעוק, טבע! מה שלומך טבע? ספר, האם אתה מרגיש לבד? האם אתה בודד? אז קח לך ביסקית טבע, כדי שלא תרגיש לבד. אם האמריקני המשיך לנסוע עד שהביא את האמריקני לאלבניה. Now, I faced a couple challenges in translating this. Normally that the prose has a very sort of Joycean ring to it, and that there's very few, commas don't really exist in, periods don't really exist in Hebrew in terms of like run sentences, or at least I come from a not so literary, I learned Hebrew in yeshiva, so this is not the Hebrew that we learned there. It was a more literary Hebrew that I needed to do some research on, but I'm proud I did. A lot of biblical and European loan phrases. And so in this I tried to space out the sentences such that they would have that same air of mystery and of some degree of uncertainty without actually becoming total rounds. The American Aki, that was my own adding. Aki in Greek means like little, it's like, people call me Theodorakis. I wanted to add a little color to it. And finally, gendering. So in Hebrew, all nouns are gendered, somewhat randomly, some might say. And so in the Hebrew, snow and nature are both masculine to some degree, but I made them both feminine, and I added the whole mother. Because I felt there was a certain power of sense of mother nature. And to be fair, Mother Earth is from the Greek. Think about it. And I'll tell you a story. There was once an American citizen of Greek descent who decided to come visit the land of his ancestors. On one of his journeys to Greece, the American hired a taxi to take him to the Albanian border. The two drove north for some time, and evening fell. They came to a road in the mountains with snow piled high on both sides, and the driver stopped, sat, and looked from the car out at the snowy mountains. The American asked him why he stopped. Silently, the driver opened the door, and as the chilly air blew inside, answered, 20 years I've driven in the snow. I've been speaking with her. Now she tells me to stop, because I respect the snow I've stopped, since one must honor the snow. The two sat in the car with the doors open to the mountains. The driver offered the American to drink ouzo with him, and as he passed him the bottle, called him, Hey Americanaki. In our tradition, two things must happen for two men to become friends. To drink ouzo from the same bottle, and to sing sad songs to one another. The driver got up and sang a mournful Greek ballad. And the American got up and followed his steps until they reached a cliff overhanging an abyss, where the faraway snowy hills wound down to the valley. Darkness covered the space almost entirely. Silence ruled unopposed, and the driver began to sob. The American approached him, but the driver turned away, moving backwards, closer and closer to the abyss. He cried in a choked voice, Greece is dying. The driver stood, stared intently at the distant peaks, and began shouting, Nature! How do you do, Mother Nature? Tell me, do you feel lonely? Are you all alone? He took a biscuit out of his pocket and threw it into the chasm and shouted again, So have a biscuit, Mama, so you won't feel lonesome. The driver strode briskly back to the car. Together, they continued to drive until he brought the American safely to Albania. Thank you.